I have to admit that every year when winter rolls around, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again. I hate winter so much. It's the worst. It's cold. It's dark. And I basically experience like a pre seasonal affective disorder before winter actually comes. And I then experience seasonal affective disorder, point blank, period. But I'm really happy to say that this year is the first year that I'm not like loathing winter and needing it to end immediately. That's not to say I don't want it to end. I, of course, am looking forward to spring and summer and more favorable seasons. But I've been reflecting on what has helped me kind of create this mindset shift because it has been a lot of hard work. Also, I will say right now I'm filming and it happens to be a very mild winter day, but we have had some rough days here in Chicago. I mean, the Windy City doesn't play when it comes to winter weather. So in this video, I want to talk about what exactly has been helping me get more on board with the drier, more death-oriented months of winter, and what's kind of helping me just embrace it for what it really actually is. I'm Adora Namigate, and I'm here to help you grow in virtue and focus on what matters most. So I realized too little too late, but I did realize finally this year that I really just needed to make peace with winter because I am a Midwestern girly through and through. I have lived here not since the day I was born, but since I was like 2 years old, I've lived here. So lived here for 30 plus years, and it doesn't look like I'm leaving anytime soon. And here's the thing. I realized that I did this to myself in a way, and I'll explain. So I work in journalism, and in journalism, I had to move to various cities to work at bigger and progressively bigger newsrooms, at bigger outlets. And there were multiple occasions, specifically two different occasions in my career, where I had the chance to move to sunny Colorado. They have more than 300 days of sun a year. Or I had the chance to move to Texas, which would have been very hot. And for me, it can never be too hot. Can just never be too hot for me. So I had the opportunity to move to cities in both of these places that seemed quite nice, but instead of moving to Colorado and Texas, I chose to respectively move to Ohio and Illinois. Girl, what are you doing? But the reason I chose to move to Ohio and Illinois, and the reason I'm happy with those decisions and don't regret them, is because I wanted to be very close to my family. I especially was not married yet, and I have a very close relationship with my siblings and my parents. They all lived in Michigan at the time where I grew up. And so I always wanted to be able to be a drive away. I wanted to be able to go home spontaneously. I wanted to be able to go home spontaneously. So, for example, just this past month, my youngest brother finished college. What a big deal. So exciting. And he was able to get extra tickets to his graduation. So he invited me and my husband. I wouldn't have been able to probably just like randomly hop on a plane and come over for his graduation. It would have hit differently to do something like that. But being able to just drive or even take the Amtrak, now that I live in Chicago, I love being able to easily and spontaneously access my family, and that definitely adds to my quality of life. And in order to have access to my folks, I need to be where they are, which is the Midwest, flyover country, baby. But we're more than flyover country, but that's what they call us out here. So once I kind of realized, Giodora, you have had a number of opportunities to leave the Midwest, and yet you have not. I realized, okay, you know what a part of living in the Midwest is? It is having winter, and it's having long winters. I mean, winter is basically a 6-month season here. I don't really think spring and fall exist. That's my personal hot take, but that's not the point of this video. Winter is very long. It is the most dominating of the seasonal patterns here. Summer is like very short and sweet. Spring and fall, you just have no idea what to expect. And then there's winter. And so I realized, okay, if I'm going to be living in the Midwest for the unforeseeable future, especially now that I got married to someone who I met in the Midwest, and like neither of us are from Chicago, but this is where we met. And so it's kind of become our home. Like, I need to really come to grips with this season. So that's where the mindset shift started. And now I've implemented several habits that I'm going to talk about, / made several changes and or purchases that have really helped me have a much better winter this year compared to seasons past. But this work kind of started 2 years ago with the first change that I'll talk about, which is wearing more colorful clothing. It's ironic that I'm not wearing colorful clothing in this video, but the point is, I used to pretty much only wear like dark gray, light gray, black, and navy blue in the winter because a lot of clothing that is available in stores for heavier clothing tends to be these colors. Coats tend to be these colors, sweaters tend to be these colors, etc. But I'm someone who, if you look at my summer wardrobe, my favorite season, I love wearing all sorts of colors. And I think my skin tone handles color very, very well. And I just love wearing it. So I realized, okay, I need to do some work and like make sure that I am able to wear color in the winter because it's probably like taking away some of my joy to get dressed up every day in these colors that like I actually personally don't particularly love wearing. So I made sure that my main neutral was white instead of black. And that kind of brightness and adding contrast to my features, I think, has been really nice. I also acquired some more colorful sweaters. I thrifted these. I got them on Poshmark slowly over time over the past couple of years. And now my winter wardrobe is not all doom and gloom. It's filled with a lot of different colors, and it's actually fun to get dressed in the morning, just like it is in the summer. So that's the first change. The second is I really just had to like reframe and re-understand winter. I think I used to view winter as just this large impediment to my life. Like summer was the norm, spring and fall were the norm, having nice weather was the norm. And then all of a sudden winter would come and it would interrupt everything and it would be so icy and it would be so dark and I would be so upset. But I realized, okay, Adora, what if we just accepted winter for what it was? Like, you know, it's going to be dark. You know, it's going to be icy. You know, the conditions are not going to be great outside. And you know, these things are going to impact your mood. So instead of like pathologizing yourself and being so upset and frustrated with this thing that you know to expect every single year, what if you just embrace and enjoy what it can even offer you? And so I decided finally to start slowing down in the winter. So now Sunday is like hot bath day. I am taking a luxurious bubble bath every single Sunday. It feels amazing. I am reading books because it's dark for a long stretch of the evening. So instead of going out, I just sit with my book and I read and I learn, or I take in a great story, and that's really nice. I also am studying more some of the things that I love to do. For example, art. I'm making sure I put in a lot more time to practice my drawing and get better at my craft. I'm also enjoying really quiet, cozy mornings where I'm journaling and praying in my bed and it just feels so peaceful. So now I'm kind of looking at winter as this cozy vibe instead of this interruption that is like ruining my life. And that reframe and new perspective on winter has really, really, really helped me enjoy it a lot more. The third thing that I did is I started taking a class to learn a new skill. The skill that I chose is ballet. And, you know, it's so funny. I did ballet like briefly, very, very briefly as a young child. Like, I think I took one session literally of ballet. And my leaps were, I don't know what they were, but they were not leaps. Okay. Anyway, I don't have ballet training, extensive ballet training, but I signed up for an adult ballet class at my local rec center because ballet is something I've always admired and have always found very beautiful. I enjoy going to ballets, and I think ballerinas look so graceful. They have the most elegant, straight posture. And, you know, I want nice posture. I want to be elegant and graceful. So I signed up for ballet class. And I have to tell you, the first 4 classes were just absolutely brutal for me mentally. I had to really force myself through. I am someone who likes dancing in general. I met my husband salsa dancing actually, and I also performed on an African dance team when I was in undergrad. And I love dance, but I'm used to dance classes being structured a lot differently than ballet is. In ballet, the teacher usually says the moves and she might demonstrate them once, but then after that, like, you're on your own. So wow, I did not know that because also I didn't even know the names of the moves. And the other students I was with in this beginners adult ballet had all like grown up doing ballet and I hadn't. So I was just experiencing a lot of self comparison, a lot of doubt, frustration, and really feeling the pain of my inexperience and lack of knowledge for the first few classes. But after that, it's not like I became an amazing ballerina. I'm really not talented at it, but I started making gains and that started feeling good. And I just kept going with it. And I really, really enjoyed my first ballet class, so much so that I signed up for another session that goes from January to March. And I'm thinking that ballet is something I'm going to keep as a winter activity because, like I said, I'm not actually good at it, but it is really, really fun. And it's really calming to just like dance to this classical music, by the way, and to really figure out how to move my body in these very technical but like graceful and smooth ways. So I really enjoy the mental and physical challenge that it is. Like your whole backside is burning at the end of class, and you're like, how? I didn't do a bunch of like vigorous movements, but it is such a workout in a different way. And I really enjoy that. And so I think taking a class that I am associating with winter and specifically doing in the winter, it's now given me something to like even look forward to specifically about winter. The fourth thing is a purchase. I'm not saying this in an influencer type of way. I'm not being sponsored. Okay, I don't even really have an audience yet. But the fourth thing is my sauna blanket. I feel like saunas are very much a trending form of health and wellness lately, which I'm all for. They are amazing. So I started visiting saunas earlier in like 2025, and it's just amazing how you feel when you get out. You just kind of feel like you're floating. And so then I learned about sauna blankets so that I could have that sauna experience in my home. And let me tell you, I bought myself a sauna blanket on Black. I bought myself a sauna blanket on Black Friday, not because it was Black Friday. It was a pre-planned purchase, to be clear. But I did buy myself a sauna blanket on Black Friday, and I started using it. I realized that I had never actually felt genuinely warm in the winter before until I started using this. Like when I'm bundled up in my coat and my scarves and stuff like that, I'm not cold, but it's not like that feeling of warmth that's like truly from within the body. And going in the sauna blanket just feels so peaceful and cuddly and warm and cozy. Every good thing. And you can kind of just sit there, you can read a book, you can listen to a podcast, to some music. It just makes me mellow out. And then doing it in the evening specifically, and then showering and going to sleep. Never slept like this before. Also, another advantage of winter that's not really on the list I'm talking about, but that is an advantage to winter, is it is a lot easier to sleep very, very deeply. I'm finding that my sleep is amazing in the winter compared to summer. Now, the last habit I want to talk about slash purchase that I made is P90X. So I realized I'm a fitness girly, love to work out, love to stay healthy. And I live down the street, fortunately, from a gym. Like I can walk there. But let me tell you something. If I wake up and it's like negative 20 degrees, I'm just not going there. And I know that about myself. And I know from different habit forming like podcasts and books, like for example, Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's really important to reduce friction around the things that you want to do. Like you have to make it easy for yourself to do those things. So I purchased P90X so that I would be able to, in the winter, wake up on a freezing, balmy, dark, dreadful Chicago day and still be able to work out without having to think about what to do and having someone just like tell me what to do. I have been loving P90X. I didn't expect to love it this much. Okay, here's the thing about it. First of all, Tony Horton, the host, he's so funny, amazing, obsessed. B, there's different people doing the workouts with him, like 3 different people in each video. So every video has different people and you don't know who it's going to be. And they all have different personalities. They all do the workouts at their own pace. So it makes you feel like you can do the workout at your own pace as well. And the workouts are just intense and fun to do. I really enjoy hard workouts. So I've really been enjoying that program. And it's great because it is a 12-week course, if you will. And so that will carry me like through the end of March, which is pretty much the end of winter. In Chicago, though, let's be honest, does winter end until April 30th? Like, really? Does it? But anyway, P90X has been great. Another reason I chose P90X over other workout programs is that you don't have to subscribe. You actually get to own P90X, which in this digital ownership world, you know how sketch that is. really, really cool that you are not subscribed. You just pay a one-time fee. I think it was 90 bucks. So winter hasn't fully peaked yet. The night is still young. Like I said earlier in this video, today actually happens to be a pretty mild day. And so I don't feel that I've experienced the true test of winter. The coldest days in Chicago are mid to late January typically. So, we'll see how that goes. But I do feel with these habits that I've just talked about, these purchases that I've made, my daily quality of life in the winter has significantly improved. So I've gone from drab gray outfits, feeling cold and crying and being bored in my house, to adopting habits and activities that make me feel great, and adopting a manner of dress that also just makes me feel good in the winter. So I would love to know if you are a winter hater and you have been trying to improve as well, or if you're someone who just like naturally likes winter, what do you do that helps you get through the season and really embrace it for what it is? Please let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Adora and have a good day.